Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And something a little bit different here with my first impressions live streams. I'm going to try and crack 3 fucking movies here in a short amount of time if I can. These are movies that I've been meaning to watch for a while. I've only just got round to seeing them, and well, The Substance I've already watched a couple of weeks ago, but I've been so fucking tied up with a lot of other things. It's preventing me from getting around to talking about this. And want to try and get a few films out of the way, without, get the weight of my shoulder a little bit, because there's other stuff I need to check out and other videos I need to do, and I'm just not going to have the time to do many of my usual videos with the new stuff. Hopefully I will, once I get the Christmas stuff out of the way, and maybe some reviews out for November. But here we are. So first off, we start off with The Substance, and man, what a fucking crazy movie. So before I get into the film, I will tell you the plot. Elizabeth Sparkle, an aerobics instructor, I do apologise, an aerobics instructor, gets fired on her 50th birthday by her arsehole boss, Harvey, played by Dennis Quaid, who's looking fucking fabulous, by the way. Heartbroken by this, Demi Moore ends up in a car accident where she's told by a doctor about something called the substance. So, curious and desperate, she decides to seek out the substance for herself, and when she finally gets what she wants, she's given specific instructions to when taking it, which then winds up having a better, more improved, younger, hotter self burst out of her back. Problem is, they have to swap bodies every 7 days, and it has to be right on time, no delays whatsoever. Otherwise, the side effects could be very drastic. She takes it. Her younger, hotter self, played by Margaret Qualley, if I'm getting that right, bursts out, and later on she becomes the biggest fucking star. She's like, everybody loves her. Harvey loves her. They're intending to make her the next big thing, even have her hosting the New Year special event. Problem is, Margaret Qualley's, who goes under the name of Susie, starts getting a little bit too fucking beheaded and a little irresponsible, and ends up changing around a bit too later than usual, turning Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore, into this really fucking deformed creature as it goes on. It's looking like any potential to stop it is hindered by desperation to revive her failing career and to stay relevant. The film itself is really fucking. It's a very baffling concept, but it's a concept that's, well, not really a baffling concept. It's kind of been done before. We've had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but there's some very good commentary, and I think Demi Moore does a very good job in this role, even though I kind of could have used more of her going. Could have used more of getting to know as a character a bit more before the plot kicks in, just a little bit. All we really know is that she was a young hot thing, famous, and she's old, and she's not the next big thing now, and she's not relevant anymore. She's kind of just this obstacle in the way, preventing the younger crowd getting in, and that's really it. I mean, what was she like when she was younger? Was she a good person? Was she an arsehole? We don't really know. All we know is that she's older now, she's lost her job, and she's sad, and she's desperate to get her career back. But we do get to know a bit more of the Margaret Qualley, even though it is basically her. It's like maybe her consciousness has been swapped over from the procedure, but it's like the consciousness starts to see the other body as another entity, like something that's just more of a burden now. But what I do like is the fact that it is really a good little satire on the entertainment industry as a whole. It's definitely does make you feel the pain that Sparkle is going through, and I will say that I will say this: Demi Moore says a lot without about what she's going through without having to say a word. It's like, and we do see little bits as well, little hit here that I do like. We see an older sort of like a guy who was probably the nerd at school who had a crush on her, and he still sees her as this very beautiful young woman who he was still kind of crushing on, and she kind of likes it, but at the same time he seems a bit too eager, so she kind of swipes him aside. And yeah, it's got this. I do like how obnoxious the cinematography is. Usually, when I see a film that does this kind of cinematography, it looks like it's trying too hard to be cool, but it it does actually suit the film that it's talking about. This is the entertainment industry. They're always trying these stupid, obnoxious things to draw in the new crowd, and it seems very right with this kind of with the tone of what this film is trying to get across. And like I said, Margaret Qualley actually does a very good job. I wasn't always the biggest fan of her as an actress. I mean, she's okay. She's okay. I mean, she's harmless, and from what I'm hearing, she seems okay. She seems like a nice lass, and she does actually do very well as this very obnoxious sort of. She's basically the consciousness of Sparkle, but but because she's younger now and she's getting people falling over it all over again, you're starting to see that maybe you're starting to see it go to her head, and maybe it did go to her head a little bit before when she was younger, and you know, and maybe it's coming back in a worse way. And I do like Dennis Quaid as well as Harvey. He is this total fucking downright shameless, unapologetic arsehole. And yeah, here's Demi Moore going fucking nuts in the scene there. But yeah, we'll go back to Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid is really fucking good as Harvey's. He plays the part with unapologetically trying to be the worst fucking person on earth, and I love the fact he's just playing it up. I like Dennis Quaid. I think he's very underrated as an actor, and it's looking like he could be one of these actors that was always good but never always got the bigger movies, and he may actually start getting some Oscars. He probably will. He's playing Reagan. They want to, but because he's playing Reagan, he's a fucking ass. So he's like a right wing bigger, blah blah blah. Who cares? Fucking hell. I just want to see. I just want to see the guy do well. He seems like a very likable guy, and he doesn't really bow down to the nonsense in fucking Hollywood today. Yeah, and I'll give credit. Demi Moore is she's still fucking killing it. Yeah, that's fucking ruthless. That. Yeah, Demi Moore still fucking kills it. I mean, she's not as young as she used to be, but she does look like she's kept in shape. She's had enhancements, but. And yeah, it's very fucking crazy the way they establish the procedure of how to swap over. I mean, it's like you got to put the injection in your body, and you got to use a stabilizer, and it's got to be on the exact right time of um, of actually taking the substance. And they've got these little bags as well with this little food that keeps the unconscious body fed. And then that's when it empties, you have to swap over as the deformities. And yeah, it's like the price you pay for trying to stay relevant. So desperately clinging on to probably the only thing that's giving your life meaning, because Demi Moore's character could probably fucking stop any time right now, right? Because once she starts showing one sign of deformity, that's when you think you need to get out of this. But no, it's the addiction. She's getting some attention again that she hasn't had in a long time, and it probably is like an addiction to her, and that's why she can't stop. And that's the price you pay for allowing your addiction to destroy you. And we do see a little scene where she does decide to try and find happiness outside of her failing career, but no, she's in the end she becomes more bitter and uh, and insane, and it just starts to take its toll on her mentally, leading to this really downright batshit insane climax, and it's all building up towards that. And I don't want to give too much away right now as well, because it is really insane. And some people think it went a little bit overboard, but it probably did, though. But I think if I had to have a little nitpick, I think like if she was up on stage looking like that, and if you've seen the film, you know what I mean. She'd be on every magazine calling her brave and stunning, and getting a shitload of laugh reactions from fucking Facebook groups everywhere. So, but it does what it set out to do. It just it highlights the insanity of the media like this. Oh yeah, I love this shot as well. These little obnoxious shots where it just makes food the most revolting fucking thing ever. The most nourishing gourmet food is like the most disgusting thing you can ever see, especially when it's being fed in the fucking mouths as well. So I don't want to go on too long about this film, because there is a lot to unpack, but it's got a good commentary as well. And I kind of saw it as like how aging movie stars kind of take a lot of this plastic surgery to a point where they end up looking like these deformed fucking freaks. And this could be another good commentary on that as well. And on what are you willing to do to cling on to your fame when it's hanging by a thread? And it might, I don't know if I call it a movie of the year. I think it's definitely one of the most unique movies of the year. I think the movie of the year for me will be coming after. I will let you know when I'm onto that. So I will move on. And next up is Hellboy, the Crooked Man. And I was not expecting this. I had no idea that this was coming out. I think that if there was any marketing for it whatsoever, definitely I definitely missed that, and I thought I would have known more about it. I'm streaming with people who do know more about this stuff, and but yeah, this was a big surprise for me as well, and I will go into it a bit more. It's an adaptation of the graphic novel The Crooked Man. Was it the comic issue? I don't know. Anyone in the comments, please establish more. And as soon as I watched this, I read the actual comic. And this film definitely does actually manage to be very faithful to the original source material. So yeah, I kind of had a bit of trouble trying to get the plot together. So bear with me a second. So basically, after a botched cargo delivery of a fucking big spider, Hellboy and a rookie BPRD agent found themselves stranded in some rural 1950s village. And then they end up meeting a guy called Holloway, who has this curse on him, and they get involved in a plot with some local devil called the Crooked Man that may have some connection to Hellboy's past. And it's a very, like I said, it's a very faithful adaptation, though kind of does add a few things that's padded out. I can't really. I have kind of had mixed feelings on this as well, because on one hand, it does pay a lot of respect to the original comic, and it doesn't really fucking ruin it, but at the same time, it lacks the fucking personality of the Guillermo del Toro Hellboys, and yeah, and a lot of you who have read the comics will probably say this is yeah, well, that's very very loosely on the comics. Guillermo del Toro, it's kind of more of a del Toro version of Hellboy, the way Batman '89 and Batman Returns was like a more of a Burton version of Batman, and I think sometimes that helps. You know, sometimes you just need being faithful to the comics is good though, but I think it kind of helps when you have a director kind of put their stamp on it, as long as it's very respectful to the law, or if it actually does come across that they were trying to make a very faithful adaptation, or actually just bring a good story and bring enough changes that may enhance the experience a little bit. But what shall I say that's very positive? Yeah, like I said, very mixed feelings, but I'll give credit. Brian Taylor is trying to make a very good film. He obviously wanted to do something very faithful, and most of the parts, for the most part, he does. But like I said, back to the most positives. Jack Casey, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he is really fucking great in the role, and it's he's definitely got the gruff fucking Clint Eastwood style demeanor. He's got the one-liners. He's the stoic bad at gun toting badass who smokes a cigarette instead of a cigar. And I didn't really see that in the comics. Him smoking a cigarette over a cigar, so I might have missed that. I've not read a lot of Hellboy comics. I just read little bits, so I really do need to read more of them. But it does have a good mood. It's got a bit of an atmosphere to it, a very good creepy, unsettling atmosphere, and it does capture the very moody, unnerving tone of the original graphic novel. But it kind of lacks the personality of the Del Toro Hellboys, because even though as good as the actors are, as good as well, not Holloway, Tom Farrell is as a character, is just it just doesn't have Jeffrey White does not have that same chemistry with Kess's Hellboy the way Doug Jones and John Hurt did with Perlman's Hellboy. I mean, those guys had really mad chemistry in that first film, and he also had great chemistry with Doug Jones once again and Selma Blair again, and Seth MacFarlane as well, and Jeffrey Tambor as well. These guys actually had really good chemistry in those movies, and it had a very good sense of humour as well to go with it. But Farrell's not that much interesting as a character. He is in the comics, and I think I like how he's kind of trying to redeem himself a little bit from his act. But in the end, I just really didn't care. I mean, and then we've got Adeline Rudolph as this agent who's obviously been added into the film to try and pad it out a little bit, and in the end, and it does feel padded out as well, because the El Spider thing, it just felt a little bit tacked on to some kind of connection to make the film last longer. Because if you watch the animated dub of the Crooked Man graphic novel, it goes on for 44 minutes. All right, and how long is this film? An hour and 39 minutes. So basically, like what 50, 55, around about 54, 55 minutes added on there. It kind of outstays its welcome a little bit, and maybe this should have been a pilot for a Hellboy TV show. And other things that kind of harm it as well is probably the budget. If this had a little bit more of a budget, I think it would have been stronger for it as well, because because when you watch the original Hellboys, they had these mad fucking looking creatures. I mean, they had this Scottish troll, this Lovecraftian sort of like beasts who lay these eggs that can insert themselves inside you. It's really crazy, mad stuff. I mean, when you watch the Perlman Hellboys, the Del Toro Hellboys, they look like feel like you're on fucking acid watching these movies. and I love it. I just love the imagination that those films had, and while they are a little bit more lighter and a little bit more bombastic, it's I think it was a change in the source material that helped for the movie. I think it works for the movie. The movie Hellboy works better in the comics, right? And that's my opinion. And but for the most part, if Del Toro thinks about getting a third movie and I think Ron Perlman doesn't want to do it anymore because he's too old, then Kessie really fucking should be the next Hellboy because he gets it down to a T. I really liked him. The problem is the script doesn't really give him much to do apart from maybe one or two action scenes of him blasting. But and it's like the film was trying to focus more on the other characters than it should, and like I said, it's not downright terrible. I mean, it's not disrespectful to the source material. It just it would have been better as a TV pilot, and it would have been good to sort of see this Hellboy, more of this Hellboy as well, and explore more worlds, and this time actually come across these creatures, more weird creatures, because even the Crooked Man had some really good weird creatures, not that much, but still good, but still enough. I mean, and but the creatures we only have on here is like a big spider and some possessed people and a few crazy actors, and that's it. But I'll give the actors credit as well; they are really doing their best. Adeline Rudolph as Bobby Joe, she's okay in it. She's okay. She's not a Mary Sue, thank God. She does show vulnerability, and she is very in over her head, and I kind of like that. I just felt she just felt a little bit tacked on. It's I think if you're going to pad out this movie, at least try and go all the way with it a little bit more, okay? Because the spider thing did feel like a second plot, which didn't really need to happen now. And I know I'm saying this about the original graphic novel that didn't have that little storyline in. But yeah, like I said, if you're going to pad this out, do something, do something a little, don't be afraid to try and take a little bit out of the Del Toro ones, and maybe even Neil Marshall as well, because it probably was. I've not seen the Neil Marshall version, so there probably was still some positives. Maybe take the positives out of them, inject it into this with the muddiness of the comics if you can. There's a good way of balancing it out. I mean, Tim Burton's Batman was very true to the very pulpish, noirish 1930s aesthetic with a mix of the gothic in. But at the same time, it's still remembered to be a fun movie, a fun action adventure movie. And this could have still worked as a horror, occult action adventure horror movie with but it just takes itself a bit more too seriously than it should. And yeah, I like that I liked it in the original Crooked Man graphic novel, but not so much here. And well, I will get onto some more positives. I do think the actors are really trying their best. I did Liam McNamara. He's really fucking going over the top as Effie, and she does seem to capture it right. And I did like Joseph Marcel as Reverend Watts. And actually, now that I think about it, was that Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And I might have missed something about him. There was one storyline that confused me. Because in The Crooked Man, he's already blind, and the Crooked Man tempts him to, join him so he could be younger and have his eyesight back. But did I miss something? Did he make a pact with the devil years ago to have his eyesight back? And then during this huge fight for survival, he decided to have the Lord take away his eyes because he feels bad for taking that deal. I might have missed something like that, but I'll still give him credit though. He does do the whole "I'm the creature with a big booming voice." I mean, he really plays it up. Every actor seems to really play it up, and yeah, that also includes the Crooked Man himself. And I'm trying to look up the actor. Give me a second. I do apologise here. Yeah, Martin Bassingdale, who was a very young looking lad. He's yeah, see if we can get him up. Martin Bassingdale, there he is. And he does really well as the crooked man. He plays it right. He plays it right from the comics. He's just like this little Rumpelstiltskin kind of fucking asshole, this con man who's there, and he is a genuine threat, and he is actually very creepy. But it's like I said, there are some positives, and it is still worth watching. But if you preferred the Guillermo del Toro styles, you will probably not like this. But if you're a fan of Hellboy, and you're more of a Hellboy nerd than I am, who's actually read fucking page to page of the comics, you will enjoy this. But there are things that let it down. It's kind of bland looking. It's kind of lifeless. It lacks the personality of the Del Toro ones, and there's that sense of adventure and exploring this world of these weird creatures that is very lost, and a little bit more of that in here probably would have helped, but they probably had restrictions with the budget, and I ain't gonna go too hard on them. I'm just gonna give my opinion, and that's it. And hopefully they do make another one of these and maybe get a chance to, really go all out a bit more. Because I don't want to see Jack Casey return as Hellboy. I think he's very talented. He gets the part right, and yeah, maybe lose some of the obnoxious fucking blaring special effects because I don't know, because there was times where I couldn't see what the fuck was happening because it's very badly lit in places. So yeah, Brian Taylor, he's done a pretty decent job, but he might need to improve a few things, and I hope he do get a chance to do another Hellboy. So moving on to my third movie. And yeah, might be one of my best movies of this year. It's up there with Inside Out 2, and I maybe will say part one of Horizon. I think it has its flaws, but it's definitely a movie that I won't get so much into, but it's definitely well done. If a film makes me care for the fucking characters, then yeah, it's doing something right. So yeah. So on to Longlegs. Bear with me a second, you beautiful bastards. Now, Longlegs is about a traumatized psychic extraordinaire. Most psychic extraordinaire than Johnny Wishbone. Yes, Agent Lee Harker, played by Maika Monroe, and fuck me, is she good in this movie, so. She's basically sent to investigate a series of killings that may have or may not have some connection to her childhood, and the killings are really fucking weird because it seems to entail that someone is controlling the families. Uh, it's basically someone kills their family members, then kills themselves, and it's looking like more people are being manipulated psychically. And one thing I really love about this film is the fucking atmosphere, the acting. It's every scene. Look, every scene has you on edge. You never know if things are gonna go wrong or fucking bad, but it's just got this fucking stillness. Like there's a deadness to it, but it works for this film. And Maika Monroe is on top for it. Top for me. She's really good. She's very, very stoic, and she's very removed and very socially awkward. And she's got her partner. Fucking crap with names. I always blank out on the name sometimes. It's Agent Carter. Fucking hell, it's an easy name. But Blair Underwood. And I think I've seen this actor before and some other stuff. Because he seems really familiar. I am trying to see Rules of Engagement. All right, Deep Impact. Okay. I might have missed him there, but I know he's familiar. I know he's very familiar. And I do like the relationship between Michael Monroe and Blair Underwood here. They actually do feel like real partners as well. And she's kind of this young sort of like traumatized agent. Well, he's the more cynical sort of like family man. He's the same way as talk about baseball, and she's like, no, I don't know baseball. It's like, damn, it's very cute. And I wish there was more images, not just on the fucking red carpet. Come on, let's see some more images. And oh yeah. And once again, you're trying to figure out what is going on. There's shit happening with the dolls, and there's these little balls inside that are empty, you're constantly wondering what the hell is happening. This is so weird, and it's very creepy. And there's Nicolas Cage there in full on makeup, and God, man, he fucking sells it. He really does. Usually, when you see Nick Cage doing his, it's maybe you're thinking it could be a spoiler. No, his face gets revealed kind of early on though. But the moment he shows up doing his, is like, oh, the birthday girl. I was wondering, is this going to be unintentionally funny, or is this actually going to be creepy? And thankfully, it turned out to be creepy. And usually, I don't mind it when Nicolas Cage is bad or unintentionally funny, but hey, how you doing, Fandad Man? He is actually really unsettling to listen to, and he does come across as this really creepy serial killer. And I kind of love this. I was kind of wondering why they shot this scene like this. It's the first time you see Longlegs here. And I may have figured out why. I think it's like we're seeing it from her point of view as a child, and she's blocked out his face. So that's why you don't see his face, because the moment he does bend down to almost revealing his face, it cuts straight to the title. So it's like you're going inside a repressed memory, and I love that. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Fandad, but yeah, I would highly check it out. This might be one of my films of the year. Definitely one of them. I'll definitely put this in my top 4. But God, yeah, it's his very crazy acting works well. He does feel like a demented serial killer. He's very incoherent, but at the same time, it's very cryptic. And every shot like this, look at that atmosphere. Everything's just dark and depressing, and you're like, it's like you're in no man's land here, and it feels, you get these vibes just like with Seven, just this very bleak, monochrome but brownish cinematography. It's like every shot is like an image that's put up there to leave you with a very uneasy feeling. And yeah, we've seen other images, and yeah, I don't want to show anymore because I think I might be giving some of it away. But if you've seen it already, yeah, then no problem. And but there were a few flaws. I think there were a few times where some characters spoke a little weird. There was one where they were talking about the dolls with with the guy in the morgue. It was like, it's meticulously created. I was like, I don't know many people who work in the morgue, but I don't know if a lot of them would talk like that. It's very fucking weird. I tried to watch Dialogue together with Carrie Moss, and it's awful. Oh, is it? Is it? Oh, God bless Carrie Ann Moss. I like her, but fucking hell, man, if she's what, the Acolyte, and now Die Alone, fuck me, man. And I don't want to say too much as well. We got Alicia Witt as well as the mother, and she's definitely come across as someone who's had some problems as well, and it does lead to. It was gas, mate. Oh, that makes it so fucking worse. It was gas, mate. I ain't going to be on too long though, because I don't want to give too much away. But once again, everything is the more things go on, the more trauma starts to play on it, and you really get why she is the way she. Michael Monroe's character Lee Carter, who I'm talking about. The more it goes on, the more things get crazier as well, and that stoic, repressed nature really starts to crumble away more and more. And once again, we're seeing a very good, strong female character who's not this. And oh yeah, she is in a nice little leather sports bra. Not too bad. She's a very good looking woman as well. and yeah, she is really fucking good. She's really good here. She's not a Mary Sue. She has fucking mental problems. She's really vulnerable, but she's competent as well. But without being a Mary Sue, that has who is the bestest ever and makes her fucking partner look like an idiot. And I do like Blair Underwood as Eddie Carter as well. He's just a normal guy working with her. He's not really into this whole psychic stuff. It's and he doesn't bar this whole supernatural people are being could be controlled, blah blah blah, kind of thing going on. He's kind of a realist. He's got his feet to the ground, yeah, and they have some very good chemistry, and I love watching these two together. I loved seeing her reaction when she goes to visit his family, and she feels very out of place. She just feels more isolated, being in this house with this very warm, loving family, which is like probably the most normal thing she's experienced outside of her job, and it's very tragic. And it made me feel so bad for her, and the conversation she has with Carter's daughter as well. I mean, she says so much about saying a word, and I really hope she does more because she's a very talented actress. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else at the moment, but God, man, let's get more actresses like this doing well. Enough of these fucking Amanda Stanelbergs, that idiot from Wicked who fucking complained that someone made the poster look more like the original stage play. I mean, how fucking entitled can you be? But yeah, and I don't want to go on so much about it though. It's very unnerving. It's very disturbing. It's the ending is what the fuck. Oh my god! It's and Nicolas Cage really uses his walking meme style of acting to actually make the film work. He doesn't turn the film into a joke. I mean, there was one scene where he's driving in a car and it goes, "Let me away from the suffering of this life." Okay, I did actually crack up laughing. And okay, there was another scene as well where he's in the shop with this teenage girl, and she's like, "Dad, the gross guy's back." Okay, that did make me laugh. That really did make me laugh. But apart from that, it does take itself seriously. It's if you want a good fucking creepy thriller, that just haunts the fuck out of you. Then Longlegs is definitely the one. I would recommend, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Hellboy the Crooked Man, I would still recommend it for fans who really want a faithful adaptation of Hellboy, who thought the Del Toro ones were way too over the top. And The Substance, you want a good satire that with some good Cronenberg style body horror, you will get what you want. And I'm so glad to finally got to talk about these movies in such a short amount of time. I wish I could have done more to add to this, but I will have to get going now. And oh yeah, you've seen it now, Fan Dad. You've seen it. Okay, will you be on the Penguin stream tomorrow? Yeah, actually, message me on Facebook Messenger anyway. So yeah, and I will leave that there. Do check out The Substance, Hellboy the Crooked Man, and Longlegs. And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern, English or not, thanks for watching, and do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support the channel, then the links will be in the description below. But right now, that's me done, and I'm off to the pub. Ta-ta.